Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going through a series of video presentations I'm creating for the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD 1111.NET Framework with Web Databases class for the fall 2019 semester. As you can see on the screen, the book for this class is Pro ASP.NET MVC 5, an A-Press text by Adam Freeman. I'm working my way through this. On the first page here with these 17 chapters, I've done 16. I'll go back and redo chapter 13. I didn't do a good job on that at all. And on the second page, I've done now lectures for 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, which means what's left are 24, which I'm going to do right now, model binding, 25, model validation, 26, bundles, and 27, web API and single page applications. So, onward and upward. Chapter 24, which starts on page 677. Model binding is defined here as the process of creating .NET objects using the data sent by the browser in an HTTP request. The author says he has been relying on the model binding process each time he's defined an action method that takes a parameter. The parameter objects are created through model binding from the data in the request. In this chapter, we'll see how the model binding system works and demonstrate techniques required to customize it for advanced use. We have a new example project in here, so I'm going to start up Visual Studio 2019. The author says, I've created a new Visual Studio project called MVC Models. Empty controller and checking the option to include the core folders and references. So, as always, create a new project. There it is. Next, it will be called MVC, big M, ODELs, models, and it will be, we'll have a solution name of Chapter 24. Alright, then we want to come in and have an empty project with the MVC folder structure for us and click Create. I guess we're going to use the same model class that we have been using. So let's right mouse click on here, choose Add in Models, Class. This will be person.cs. And as shown on page 678, we can get rid of the code that's in here and replace it with this code right here. Alright, we're also going to create a controller, which is going to be called Home Controller. And the contents of Home Controller are shown on page 678 near the bottom of the page right here. Alright, I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit so it looks good, or at least pretty good from the get-go. be a little bit anal here. Sorry about that. Alright, so there's our first one. Shouldn't matter if I've got blanks in here, blank spaces. Or let's put it this way, if it does matter, I don't know why it would. Just that this makes it much easier for me to see just exactly what's going on, or at least try to see what's going on here. Alright, so I now have my home controller set up, and as you can see, this controller defines a collection of sample person objects, and it defines an index action, which is on the top of page 679. All right. We also are to create a view file for the index. To support the action method. The contents of that file are shown on page 679. So we'll get rid of the code that's in there and replace it with this code here on 679. Knock that down a bit in size. All right. So that's our preliminary setup. Let's do a file save all. And let's run the application and see if it looks, what it looks like, if we get any errors, etc. Error in application. All right, the parameters directory contains, oh, we don't have an ID in there. So 1. Hopefully that'll bring up Adam Freeman, not just our author, but the first person who's in there. So I've noticed that a lot of times that if you do this the first time and you run it like this, that it can really take a lot of time. So I will take it back and rerun it, and then at least sometimes it appears as though it runs faster. So still says we've got a null entry for the ID. Home index, that is correct. Very quickly double check and make sure I didn't make any errors in here. I'm already up to 10 minutes. This will be it for the first iteration of this. Let's just quickly double check. All right. So taking it from the top, our person class, that all looks fine. We've got our home controller, and although this shouldn't matter, heck with it, I'll get rid of the blank spaces. Alright. The IDs are set, so that should be okay. That looks correct as far as I can tell. The action result, that was copied in directly. And the index.cshtml file, okay, that's a problem. I think I combined two files here. Person 2, we've got a bunch of divs, all led through that display. This right here, this finally, I don't want that. That is not correct. Well, let's grab all that out of there. I apologize. Control X. Alright, so now that should be okay. Again, I've been told already that I'm too anal with some of this stuff, but it does make it easier for me when I'm going over my stuff to see what goes with what. All right, oops. And finally, we want our underscore layout.cshtml file. And that file should look like this. So now let's do a file save all. Let's do our project, properties, web, specific page, close that. Let's right mouse click on our index file, view it in the browser, but we will change this so that it does have, an ID. Alright, there's person 1, person 2, person 3. There's only 4 users in here. Person 4. Alright, so we've got all that set up. A lot longer than I thought it would be to just go through the first 3 or 4 pages. That's okay. Alright, I'm going to stop right now and pick it up on understanding model binding in just a couple minutes.